welcome to the deep dive. So you sent us some really fascinating stuff on weight management.
Yeah.
And whether you're, working toward a specific goal, just trying to stay healthy, or even if you're just curious about how it all works, today we're going deep just for you.
That's right. Consider this your crash course on the fundamentals of weight management, all based on what you sent us. No need to wade through tons of articles or conflicting opinions,
Right.
We'll break down the science, bust some of those stubborn myths you've probably encountered, and give you some solid, evidence-based strategies tailored to what we've seen in your sources. It's all about giving you clarity and practical insights, cutting through all the noise.
Okay, awesome. So first things first, when we say weight management, we're talking about way more than just the number on the scale, right?
Yeah, absolutely. From what you shared, and just in general, it's really about this dynamic balance between the energy you get from food, the energy you burn through activity, and all the amazing things your body does behind the scenes. It's a holistic thing, It's about overall well-being, not just fixating on weight loss.
I see. And one term that pops up constantly in what you sent is metabolism.
Yeah.
Like, we hear it all the time, but what's the real deal for someone like you based on the information you've been looking at?
Well, looking at your sources, metabolism is basically all those chemical processes going on in your body right now, keeping you alive and functioning.
Wow.
This includes how your body turns the food you eat into energy. And the speed of your metabolism can definitely affect how efficiently your body uses that energy, and consequently how easily you might gain or lose weight. It's pretty complex, as I'm sure you've seen in some of your readings.
So that brings us to this classic idea, which definitely came up in some of the things you shared, this calories in versus calories out principle.
Yeah.
Can we break that down in a way that's relevant to your journey?
Okay, at its core, it's pretty straightforward. It's a major concept in a lot of the stuff you sent. If you consistently eat more calories than your body burns, the extra energy gets stored, often as fat, leading to weight gain.
Makes sense.
On the flip side, if you consistently burn more calories than you eat, your body starts tapping into its reserves, which can lead to weight loss. It's that basic energy equation underpinning a lot of weight management science.
Gotcha. But looking at your sources, it can't be that simple, right? I mean, we all know people who seem to eat whatever they want and don't gain weight, while others, just look at a cookie and gain 5 pounds. Where do genetics fit in for you?
That's a great point, and it's a common question. And yeah, genetics can be a big factor, as some of the research you shared probably pointed out.
Yeah.
You might inherit certain tendencies that affect your metabolic rate, how your body stores fat, even how your appetite works.
Interesting.
So while genetics aren't the only thing, they can make managing weight easier or harder for some people. Think of it like having a different starting point.
Okay, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there are the hormones.
Right, yeah.
Insulin, leptin, ghrelin. It's like a whole orchestra playing behind the scenes. And some of your articles really focused on these. What are their main roles in this weight management symphony, based on what you've learned?
They're crucial. The way they interact is fascinating. Insulin, as you probably read, helps control your blood sugar and how your body stores fat. Leptin, often called the satiety hormone, tells your brain when you're full. And ghrelin, the hunger hormone, makes you want to eat. The communication between these hormones and others has a huge impact on your hunger cues, how much you eat, and how your body stores energy.
Wow.
What's really cool, and something some of your sources might have touched on, is that your diet and lifestyle can actually influence these hormone levels.
Oh, wow. So we've got a good handle on the basic science now, all based on the kind of info you've been looking at. Now let's tackle those pesky myths. Because you're right, the information out there can be really confusing. First up, and I bet you've seen this one, carbs are the enemy. What did your research say about that?
That's a super common one, and I'm sure it popped up in some of your reading.
Yeah.
But it's way more nuanced than that.
Okay.
Not all carbs are created equal. Cutting out all carbs can be overly restrictive and often totally unnecessary. What really matters is the quality of the carbs you choose.
Okay.
Going for complex, unprocessed carbs like whole grains, fruits, and veggies gives you essential fiber and nutrients, while refined and sugary carbs can lead to weight gain and other problems. It's about choosing wisely within that food group, not eliminating it altogether.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's about choosing the right fuel for your body, not just ditching a whole category of food.
Exactly.
Okay, what about this idea that skipping meals helps you lose weight? Sounds counterintuitive to me.
It is counterintuitive, and often for good reason. You might temporarily eat less by skipping a meal, but it can backfire, as some of the research you saw might have suggested. Your body might actually slow down your metabolism a bit to protect itself.
Really?
Yeah, and skipping meals can often make you way hungrier later, so you end up overeating at your next meal.
Oh, that makes sense.
Being consistent with your meals is usually better for long-term weight management.
Okay. Here's another myth that seems to stick around. All calories are created equal.
Right.
Like a calorie is a calorie, right? Or is there more to it?
Well, while a calorie is a unit of energy, its effect on your body is way more complex than just that. The source of those calories, whether they're from protein, fats, or carbs, makes a big difference in how full you feel, your hormone responses, and how your body actually uses them. For example, and some of your sources might have mentioned this, protein tends to be more filling than the same amount of calories from refined carbs. So even though energy balance is important, the quality of those calories matters too.
Okay, and lastly, the one we all secretly wish were true. You can out-exercise a bad diet. Can we really just work out and then eat whatever we want?
It's a nice thought, right? A lot of people wish it worked that way.
Right.
But in general, the info out there, including what you probably read, says that what you eat matters more for weight management than exercise alone. While exercise is super important for overall health and fitness, and it does burn calories, it's tough to burn enough to cancel out a consistently unhealthy diet. Think about it. You can eat hundreds of calories really fast, but burning that off can take a lot of time and effort.
Yeah, that's true.
Exercise is vital, but it works best when paired with a balanced diet.
So it's about the combination, not just one or the other.
Exactly.
Okay, we've cleared up some big myths now based on what you've been reading. Let's switch gears and talk about what actually works. What are some practical science-backed strategies, like the ones in your sources, that you could realistically use for healthy weight management?
This is where it gets exciting, and more importantly, directly relevant to you. One key strategy, which I'm sure you saw in some of your materials, is mindful eating.
Okay.
This means really tuning into your body's hunger and fullness cues, eating slowly, and enjoying the flavors.
I like that.
It also means noticing why you're eating. Are you actually hungry? Or are you eating because you're stressed or bored? And portion control is a big part of this too.
Mindful eating. It sounds simple enough, but life gets so busy. Were there any tips in your research on how to actually do it?
Oh yeah. Common advice includes things like minimizing distractions while you eat, like putting your phone away or turning off the TV.
Right.
Focus on the taste, texture, and smell of your food. Chew thoroughly. And pay attention to when you start feeling comfortably satisfied, not stuffed. It can also help to wait a bit after finishing your first serving before deciding if you really need more. Sometimes it takes time for your body to catch up.
I see. That's helpful. You also mentioned protein and fiber, which I definitely saw emphasized in some of what I read. Why are they so important for managing weight?
They both help you feel fuller for longer, which can naturally help control how much you eat overall. Protein also helps preserve your lean muscle mass, which burns more calories even when you're resting.
Oh, wow.
Fiber adds bulk to your diet, slows down digestion, and keeps your blood sugar levels steady. So incorporating good sources of lean protein like fish, poultry, beans, and lentils, along with high fiber foods like fruits, veggies, and whole grains, can be super beneficial strategies, all in line with what you've probably been reading.
It's all about the quality of the food.
Yeah.
What about exercise? We know it's good for us overall, and you said we can't just use it to offset a bad diet. Based on what you've learned, what's a balanced approach?
The best approach, which is widely supported, is to mix strength training and cardio. Strength training helps you build muscle, which, as we said, can boost your metabolism a bit. Cardio, like walking, running, or swimming, burns calories during the activity and is great for your heart. The key takeaway is to exercise smart, not necessarily hard. Find activities you enjoy and can do consistently instead of pushing yourself to extremes that you can't keep up.
I love that. Smart, not hard.
Yeah.
That feels much more sustainable in the long run.
Totally. It's about finding what works for you.
You also mentioned hydration. How does drinking enough water fit into all of this?
Staying hydrated is often overlooked, but it's really important. Drinking water can make you feel fuller, which might naturally reduce how much you eat overall.
Okay.
It's also essential for so many bodily functions, including those metabolic processes we talked about. Sometimes we even mistake thirst for hunger and end up snacking unnecessarily.
Well, it's interesting.
So yeah, making sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day is simple but powerful.
These all sound like doable steps, which is encouraging. And you stressed consistency over perfection, which is, I think, a huge point for anyone listening. Can you talk more about why that's so important?
It's the key to sustainable weight management. It's about building small, healthy habits that you can stick with over time, not trying to follow super strict diets or crazy workout plans that are impossible to maintain. Gradual, consistent changes are much more likely to lead to lasting results. Think of it like a marathon, not a sprint. Small steps done consistently add up to big changes in the long run.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this has been incredibly helpful in laying out a practical framework, all drawing from the kind of information you've been looking at. Now let's address some burning questions you might have.
Okay, fire away.
First up, is intermittent fasting good for weight loss? It's everywhere these days.
Intermittent fasting has definitely gotten popular, and you've probably seen it in your research too.
Yeah.
It's about cycling between eating and fasting on a schedule. Some studies suggest it can be effective for weight loss in some people, mainly by creating a calorie deficit. But it's definitely not for everyone. Things like your health, lifestyle, and preferences matter. As always, it's smart to talk to a doctor before making big changes to your diet, including starting intermittent fasting.
That's a really important reminder. Okay, here's another common one. How do I stop late night snacking?
Oh yeah.
Many people struggle with this, myself included sometimes.
Late night snacking often has a few different causes, which you might have seen discussed in your materials.
Okay.
It could be boredom, stress, or maybe not eating enough balanced meals with protein and fiber earlier in the day, which makes you extra hungry later. One strategy is to really focus on those balanced meals to manage your hunger as the evening goes on.
Right.
Also, having a regular evening routine that doesn't revolve around food can help. If you snack out of habit or because of emotions, try to pinpoint those triggers and find other ways to cope, like doing something relaxing or talking to a friend. Becoming more aware of why you're reaching for that snack is a great first step.
That makes sense, addressing the root of the problem, not just the urge in the moment. And last but not least, a question I'm sure many of us wonder about. Can stress really cause weight gain? It certainly feels like it can.
There's definitely a link between stress and weight, and it's been studied a lot.
Okay.
When you're chronically stressed, your body releases hormones like cortisol. High cortisol levels can make you crave high-calorie, sugary, and fatty foods, those classic comfort foods.
Right.
Stress can also mess with your sleep, which then affects your hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin, and that can lead to more eating and weight gain over time.
Oh, wow. So managing stress through things like exercise, mindfulness, or being in nature is really important for weight management too.
Absolutely.
This has been so insightful. It really shows how interconnected everything is when it comes to weight. So as we wrap up, what are the biggest takeaways you want me and all of you listening to remember from our deep dive today?
The most important thing, based on everything we've talked about and what you've probably explored in your research, is that weight management is a journey, not a destination.
I like that.
It's about finding a sustainable balance between what you eat, how active you are, and your body's own needs and how it works.
Right.
Focus on building those small, consistent, healthy habits that you can stick with over time. Ditch the quick fixes and extreme measures. Understand that energy balance calories in versus calories out. But also remember the importance of food quality and the impact of things like genetics and hormones. Be aware of those myths out there.
Right.
And maybe most importantly, be patient with yourself and practice self-compassion throughout this process.
That's fantastic advice and such a helpful way to frame it. It really emphasizes the importance of understanding how your metabolism, diet, and activity levels all work together.
Thank you so much for taking the time to break this down for us today, all based on the information you shared. It's definitely given me, and I'm sure everyone listening, a lot to think about and some really practical things to try.
It was my pleasure. It's all about empowering you with knowledge so you can make the best choices for your well-being. And that wraps up our deep dive into the fundamentals of weight management for today, inspired by what you sent our way.
Awesome.
We hope this has given you some clarity and some actionable steps to take on your journey. Keep exploring how that balance of metabolism, diet, and activity works for you.
Yeah.
And maybe take some time to think about one small, sustainable change you could experiment with, something that resonated with the info you were initially looking into. Until our next deep dive, keep exploring and be well.